Hi, I'm Russell and I work at the Video Store, the place that you can go to once a week when you're looking for something to watch. When the store is quiet, behind the counter, I get to talk to my friends about the films and the series that we're loving. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
How's it?
Hello, Russell.
How are you, my G-Force?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Nice.
Good. I watched a lot of golf.
Oh, right.
I'll tell you all about it.
Please do.
First customer of the day.
Hey, nice and early.
Yes, how's it?
What's up, you two?
Hey.
How are you, Chizembi?
Thanks for having me back in the shop.
Of course.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
We loved having you about 2 weeks ago.
yeah, something like that.
It's nice to have you back. We've got ourselves a G-Force,
Hello?
who is an editor and the producer of the show.
Yeah.
We've got ourselves a Chizembi, who is a scholar,
Yeah,
an academic
some would say.
of engineering and movies.
Yes.
And myself, Russell, I am the owner of The Bioscope, which is an independent cinema here in Johannesburg. And we have come to work hard
Yeah.
and talk a little bit of shit.
Yeah.
But mostly to catch you up on the last busy week of entertainment
Yeah.
and to talk about movies. I want to talk about Project Hail Mary.
Of course.
We can.
We've been yapping on about it for a while now.
Yes. You have long since read the book, Graeme.
Yes.
Which got me excited. So I read the book last year. Chizembi, did you ever read the book?
I didn't read the book, no.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a little bit jealous of the people who didn't know the story
Right.
when I was watching it. As much as it was cool to see this whole thing play out,
Yes.
I felt a little bad that I knew how it was going to end
Right.
and how it was all going to go and what the plot points were going to be. But that didn't take away from how cool it was. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. I didn't watch that much TV. I was watching golf.
Yes.
in person or on TV?
In person. I've got
Whoa.
family that live in Stain City. And so it's been all they've spoken about in a very cool way because their lives have revolved around this weekend for like the last at least year, more so in the last sort of 6 months as this massive thing came to town. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Live Golf, which is one of the kind of competing associations of golf that rivaled the PGA, which was the main, association of golf, have very similarly to the Formula One, like they travel the world as
Yeah.
this show, effectively. It's so funny to think about it, like when sports really is just entertainment.
Yeah.
Whether we're acting Shakespeare or chipping onto the green, it's still entertainment.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? and of course, there's this huge prize money, and I just I don't think I even realized how big it all was. I mean, it was monumental. The winner took home $4 million.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
And
For
that
the
was
South
happening.
for the South African stop.
Yeah, this weekend.
Wow.
This weekend. That's how big
Yes.
Live Golf is. There's a prize pot of about 40 million that they divide up in such a way.
Jeez.
But the winner, and I want to add his name to the list of cool names in the video store.
All right.
Whenever you tell me about, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, Abdul Mateen II.
I always go, cool name.
Yeah.
How's this guy's name? Bryce DeChambeau. Hey,
Yeah.
DeChambeau.
I don't think you can be an uncool guy with a name like that.
And let me tell you, bro's handsome.
Oh, wow.
You would,
He is
I'm not surprised.
he is a handsome, strong American boy called Bryce DeChambeau.
Right.
And he is now $4 million richer.
Yes. Okay, I have to say this anecdote now, talking about cool names.
Yeah.
I was at one point registering students when I was working at AFTA.
Okay.
I was there for registration. The one dude that I registered, real name on his ID
Yes.
was Jason Magic.
Okay.
Wow.
I was like, that's your real name?
Jason Magic.
Yeah,
Jason Magic.
you've got your career like pretty much worked out for you.
Yes.
And then you'll just have everyone in your whole life going like, so what's your real name? And
Yeah.
he's like, Well,
I am
funny,
Mr. Magic.
funny story, but
Nominative determinism run amok.
yeah. Okay, so that was cool, and so I didn't watch a lot of TV as a result.
Cool.
But it was very cool to watch these dudes play in real life. And,
Okay.
when it got a little bit mizzy,
Oh, yes.
it was really nice to watch it from a couch
Yeah.
on the TV.
So-
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning that this shift is sponsored. It is brought to you by Sony Pictures
Yeah.
and specifically Project Hail Mary, which, as we said, we're going to get into
Yeah.
and talk lots about. But we have run a very cool hamper giveaway over on our Instagram, specifically our Instagram, which is the Video Store Pod. I think this episode is going to come out on Tuesday. I think you've got 2 more days
Yeah.
to cast your entry,
Cool.
and this coming Thursday we'll announce the winner.
All right.
We've had like hundreds of entries.
Nice.
Well, over 100.
100.
We've had 100 entries. No, which is so cool. Like
Yeah.
we haven't had this kind of response before, and so
Nice.
it's really cool to like really have this campaign happen.
Yeah.
I think it's been a great success for us and hopefully for Sony Pictures because the Bioscope's whole weekend was sold out.
Nice. I actually wanted to ask you
Friday
about
we were like 1 or 2 tickets away.
that. Cool.
Saturday's 2 screenings were sold out. Sunday, I think we were like 1 seat short or something,
Nice.
which is it. When you just got 1 ticket left, it like
Yeah.
doesn't sell because there's only just this one.
Exactly.
No, but it was lovely and so cool. And I think it's a long tail kind of film. I think it's going to have a lot of people telling each other today and this week, and I think for the next few weeks it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, over on the Video Store Pod on Instagram, we want to know, apart from your Converse, what you would take on your space mission with you. What treasured items?
Cool.
And you've got tickets to the Bioscope, popcorn, a 1,000 Rand Converse gift voucher, and a copy of the book.
Yeah. Nice.
Which I must say, I always don't like when they make the film tie-in book.
Okay.
But
I
this cover
sometimes
actually,
do.
but this cover actually is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it might be better than
Yeah.
the cover I saw before.
Yes.
The black and white one of him floating in space.
Yeah, that like first
that's a
print
cool
one.
one. The one of the close up of the guy's face.
Yeah,
in the
it feels
blue
very
isn't as
stock
good.
photo.
Mm.
Yeah.
This film tie-in one is cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask something quickly?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it's maybe not in the schedule, but what would you take to space?
Yeah, we've spoken
Did you
about
s-
this.
Yeah.
I mean, did you
no,
talk
no,
about it
and,
properly last time?
What I said, and I still kind of stand by. Apart from pictures of my my beautiful daughter and wife,
Yeah.
if they can't come, I wouldn't actually want them to come.
No, I don't think so.
It all depends on how to shit the world is going.
Yes.
Because if I could save them and they could come with me, then that would be okay.
Yeah.
But if it's safer on Earth for
Yeah.
at least the next 30 years, they should stay on Earth. I said like an instrument,
I think that's a good answer.
like probably a guitar.
Yeah.
I think like you've got more to do with that.
Yes.
My favorite is in the movie Without a Pedal when he
Oh,
talks
yeah.
about how like he just stayed in this cabin in the woods, Burt Reynolds' character, and he's like, just me and the harmonica. Next thing you know, 30 years later, and one of the characters, I think it was Dak Shepard, was like,
Yeah.
I bet you could play the fuck out of that harmonica. All right, should we get into a little round of Hey Did You Guys See?
Let's do it.
All right, you want to kick it off, G-Force?
Sure. I'll start with one that's very local to us. Hey, did you guys see? This is beneficial to us that Rosebank is getting an IMAX.
Yes,
We don't have to
heard.
drive all the way to freaking Mall of Africa anymore.
Yeah, we had Mall of Africa and Eastgate
Yeah.
as the main IMAX.
And Cradlestone.
Yeah, all the way out in the west.
Yeah.
Okay, I never went there.
Okay,
Don't
we went there a
worry.
few times. It's a really nice theater, but it's far.
Okay. I always love that. It's like, far for you. When I was, my whole life in the Bioscope, people
Yeah.
have always like complained.
Yes.
And there was one complaint like, it's far.
Why are you so
and I was
far?
like,
Why
do you
so
know, you
far?
understand that distance is relative
Yeah.
to where you are standing. It's like, if you live in Bedford View,
Yes.
we're close, like this is when we were in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Or if you live in Kensington, we're around the corner.
Yeah.
So like, shush. No, that is exciting. And I
Yeah.
know that Ster-Kinekor are wanting to make that more of a prestige site. I think it's interesting, and I think it's testament to the future of cinema that I predicted 6
Yeah.
years ago when everyone wanted to interview me around COVID, around what I thought the future of cinema was. And I was like, I believe the bioscope is in the right side of evolution, which
Yeah.
is like small, boutique, interesting cinema, we'll screen, these films from around the world and,
Yeah.
50 people, that's enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If that sells out, do another screening. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's times I wish we had 100 seats or 150, but then there's times I'm very happy
Yeah.
with my cozy little 50.
Yeah.
And that's part of what the success of the bioscope is that you've kept it small. But I long since thought the future is in little boutique, interesting cinema spaces like this,
Yeah.
and the big IMAX spectacle where you are watching these films in, the
Yeah.
way
Just shock
Nolan
and
intended.
awe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way these, that's the point of cinema, right?
Yes.
Is to be this big spectacle,
Yeah.
especially something like Project Hail Mary, Dune. I mean, fuck's sakes,
Yeah.
you got to watch that on as big a screen as you can,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. That's the point of cinema. It's point of the magic, right? So that is cool, and good for them.
Yes. And good for us.
Yeah,
It's close.
Yeah, totally. Hey, did you guys see Chuck Norris died?
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
What did he succumb to?
Don't actually know. I think they didn't say in like the statement
I think it's just
the fact that he was like 86 years old or whatever.
perhaps enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the jokes are great, and I just love the fact that the jokes have maintained. It's not like everyone's gone like, oh well,
Yeah. We don't get to do these now.
we don't get to do them, whatever. But no, everyone's saying like, death had a Chuck Norris experience,
Yes.
and like, they're all great. So
Yeah.
I just think you can't have predicted that kind of meme,
Yeah.
that kind of legacy.
Exactly.
Those things just happen. And
Yeah.
that's great.
I've still never watched a Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think,
know. I think-
dude, for me, I'm a little bit older than you, and
Yeah.
it's before my time. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's before the time
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you. So
I know him as this meme fixture. That's it.
Yep.
yeah, no, and I don't think people realized how badass he was, and then of course the memes and the jokes caught up, and then you realize like he very much was badass.
Yeah.
I mean, he was black belts and all sorts of things. Have you got another one?
Do you have?
I mean, hey, did you see, speaking of IMAX,
Yeah.
the Dune Part 3 trailer came
Oh
out
yeah.
in this last week?
Yeah.
Boy, did I freaking see it.
That was the chant that Timothy Chalamet does in it has been stuck in my head every day. That's a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, and they go hard on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Dune Part 3.
Yep.
It's based on Dune Messiah,
Yeah.
which was the follow-up book that Frank Herbert wrote after Dune.
Yeah.
And I think maybe either you guys can correct me on this, but it was a little bit of a correcting of course, or it's gonna double down on a particular idea
Yes.
Yeah.
with Paul Atreides,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That was kind of his idea.
Yeah.
What did the first one set up, and what is this one
I think
aiming to achieve?
Herbert's thing was that people kind of misunderstood the first one in a lot of ways, and that they misinterpreted Paul as a hero, which he very much isn't.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this was kind of a bit of course correction for him to kind of cement his character a little bit more. That he's a bit more, well, not a bit more, he's a lot more ruthless.
A lot more evil.
Yeah, a lot more ends justify the means kind of.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
in some defense, it's like in the book in Dune,
Yeah.
he gets to this point where he is able to see time and see bloodshed and see the evil that is kind of coming, but he sort of still stays course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that this book came before Star Wars.
Yes.
Did it come before Lord of the Rings?
It
I
would have been
think-
around about the same time.
I think maybe a little bit after Lord of the Rings.
Because it was
Okay.
1950s as well. They were both
Yeah.
in the
Okay,
50s.
but we are used to, especially in screenwriting, this idea of the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we follow this character, and we always kind of want them to be a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that this original great epic science fiction story wasn't actually trying to create a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Messiah came out and it kind of all goes to shit. What happens?
Well, I don't want to get into it now. That's
No,
spoilers.
I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's him.
He's committing a lot more. In the first book, admittedly, I haven't read Doom Messiah. I
Yeah.
want to read it before part 3 comes out. But I mean, in the first book and in the movies, you do see Paul. He's almost a sympathetic guy where you feel bad in the sense that his mother's kind of created this predetermined path for him.
Yeah.
And despite him not wanting to be it, or not thinking he is it, the Fremen believe he is their Messiah. So he eventually steps into the role of it. And we're not meant to really believe that. Well, as the readers and the audience members, we're meant to see how charismatic figures, so to speak, or one leader religions, so to say, are bad. And then Dune Messiah comes around, and from what I've been told, from those who have read it, we see Paul maybe committing a lot of crimes. I mean, he hints at it, like he has visions of it in the first book and in the movies.
Yes.
And so he
Okay, no, I didn't necessarily want to get into plot, but it's more like he's now leading the Fremen.
Yeah.
Without getting into too much details, Paul has a very specific goal in mind.
Yeah.
And he will do anything to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No matter what atrocity he has to commit.
Okay. All
That's
right.
kind of what
that's
it's
where
about.
That's where we're heading.
Yes.
Okay.
But the trailer looked awesome.
Oh, incredible trailer.
It just,
Because he has married into something now, right?
Yeah.
yes. He's married the former emperor's daughter. So and cement, he deposes the emperor at the end of Dune, and he marries the emperor's daughter, cementing his place as the emperor of this universe.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so he is the emperor.
Illegitimately so to some.
Yes.
Okay, and here's the fight for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, did you guys see we got the Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brand new day.
Yes.
But the fact is, I believe it set a whole bunch of records,
Yeah.
Yeah, for viewership records, I think.
which is crazy.
I'm not sure where these numbers are coming from.
Yeah, these metrics are interesting because once upon a time it would just be YouTube that you would measure.
Yes.
And now they amalgamate YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
They're saying, it's shatters records with 718.6 million views.
Yeah.
The biggest movie trailer launch in history.
Okay.
Almost,
They're obviously just conglomerating all the numbers from everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like if you do that,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're going to win the award. It's like, but interesting.
Yeah.
And we are now starting to get the rollout of what is the American blockbuster summer.
Yeah.
And this will certainly be one of its pearls in its crown. And I always think this is interesting that we get 3 or 4, maybe sometimes more, 5 of these blockbuster films that are usually about a week apart.
Yes.
In some cases, there is still the fight between Dune and Avengers over this one day, which just seems fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're playing chicken. Someone needs to move.
Exactly.
Because apparently IMAX won't screen both.
no.
So I was actually going to mention this. For both Spider-Man and Avengers, they won't be showing on IMAX in America.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the Odyssey and Dune got those dates first. And they actually collaborated with the IMAX company. So IMAX is going to prioritize them.
And
They
they've
give
sold
them
the real
exclusivity.
estate.
Yeah.
Which seems silly because, okay, maybe it's hard to put those film reels out every time and swap in between.
Yeah.
You see this incredible footage of these big film reels that they lace through these big machines. But you kind of feel like you could do one on the one day and the other on the other day.
Yeah.
And kind of split it up and make more money and make more people happy. But that
I'm
doesn't
sure.
seem to be the
I
case.
assume it's the studios that are buying the exclusivity from IMAX.
Yeah, and then IMAX are like, we don't mind because we've been paid.
Yeah. And they know the Odyssey is going to be huge, so they'll make their money. Yeah.
And it is really interesting. I think as you pointed out right at the top, talking about IMAX opening up and the future of cinema, I think there is this understanding that IMAX is going to become a more and more important revenue driver for studios.
Yeah.
Totally. Especially for these big films.
For the big films, because the higher ticket price, but also just it incentivizes the audience to go see them in this big
Exactly.
format.
Yeah.
And it is incredible.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is incredible. And it's like, this is, peak cinema
Yeah,
in its peak performance.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Exactly.
yeah, and it almost, it's interesting that the last decade you've had superheroes dominate the cinema chain,
Yeah.
but then you've got, I mean, not to say Dune is its own kind of thing, and then the Odyssey certainly is its own thing, and they are standing up to the big superhero movies. I think it shows like a potential look. I think Avengers and Spider-Man, these are huge. Spider-Man is the enduring popular superhero
Spider-Man
of
might
all
be the
time.
biggest movie of the year.
I think it is. I think Spider-Man will
for
be
a
the
handful
biggest.
of reasons. I mean, the one is like, it is still such a great kids movie.
Yeah,
And the superhero will always be an impressionable like 11-year-old kid.
yeah.
That, or even younger. Like I saw my nephew this weekend in full Spider-Man garb.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, I remember being a kid wearing full Spider-Man gear, and to almost 30 years later, Spider-Man still is that. Like, you've had Iron Man and Hulk and all, like, none of them can compete with
No.
Spider-Man.
No, and I think Tom Holland is great because he looks little.
Yes, he looks like a boy.
Yeah.
And I mean, even during the pandemic, the last one made $1.8 billion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, I mean, this one's going to be huge.
yeah.
What did we get out of this one apart from the fact that Bro's lost his memory and he kind of has to like?
The others have lost.
yeah,
their
everyone's
memory.
forgotten.
Everyone
Ian,
else has
except
forgotten him.
Yes. And he's also gotten rid of like all the Tony Stark like tech suit thing. So
Yeah.
he's just wearing like an old school Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the technology's
It's like
gone.
it's like a nice little reset.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems to be like a slightly more
seems-
stripped back.
It seems like he's now able to shoot biological webs, because Tom Holland Spider-Man had to have web machines.
Did he?
If I'm
Yeah.
where, and similar to Andrew Garfield, I think the only
Yes.
one who had natural shooting webs was Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they're now trying to say he's undergoing this metamorphosis,
Yeah.
and he can't control his web production, whatever that means.
Okay.
There
So
is a
It's a nice little
story.
play on adolescence.
There's
Yeah.
a story in the comic books where his like mutation goes further.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he turns into man spider. He's literally like a giant mutant spider, and people think that's what they're doing in this one.
I mean, cool. Yeah, let's get freaky.
Yeah, why not?
Let's get freaky.
Let's get silly.
Hey, did you guys see Jessie Buckley
Yeah.
now won as many as 42 Best Actress
Jeez,
awards?
like
Just dominant.
wild.
42.
That was just
They made this poster with her like walking in the forest with the wreaths all around her, and it's
Yeah.
like it's 90% wreath,
yeah.
10% Jessie
Just-
Buckley in the middle of this forest. But it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is
And I
unbelievable.
just think what an incredible legacy.
yeah.
And just what an incredible moment. I just
Yeah.
think that like I'll never forget I think it was in around the casting of this major production play.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember the phrasing, but it was about me entering into this major production. I think I was going to play drums in the band.
Right.
And I was setting up my drums to do this like quick audition to show the lady that I can play drums.
Okay.
And she said something like, just remember, you might just not be the right person for the role.
Right.
And she was this older, quite sort of seasoned actress woman. And she said, I could act the shit out of, well, she didn't say that. She's like, I could, I can act a lot better than Pamela Anderson, but I'm not going to get cast in Baywatch.
Right.
And I was like, and I just remember as an impressionable kid being like, oh, at least for acting, it's you just got to be the right person at the right time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I just think there's something so cool about Jessie Buckley just being that perfect, like, kind of very natural person because, and it had to be this very raw, very sort of natural earthed role.
Yeah.
And she sort of had to have this like sort of vaguely kind of sort of witchiness to her. It
Yeah.
was like, it's very specific.
Mm.
Not everyone could do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
just thought that was lovely to mention.
Yeah.
One other one. Have you got more? I got one.
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, let's go.
This one's for Cole. Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Burning Ambition? This is
The Iron Maiden documentary.
this is a new Iron Maiden documentary.
Yeah.
Right.
A distributor has gotten in touch to say there will be a release of
Okay,
it.
Cool. I wanted to ask about
And I immediately responded with, I know these people. I know these fans. This
Yeah.
will work at the Bioscope.
that. Yes.
This is like the documentary
Yeah.
on Iron Maiden.
Like
Right.
all access, like actually interviewing the band.
It's
They're
the
involved.
it's the kind of docu that you think you've seen. At least you would have thought they would have made many of these, but they haven't. Like this is the one. Iron Maiden's a very interesting band.
Yeah.
I remember just seeing so much iconography and T-shirts and kind of being a little like scared as a little kid.
Yes.
And then there was this point where I was hanging out with this dude in the theater of Wits, and he was watching something on his computer with headphones, and it was an Iron Maiden thing. And I was like, "Are you a big fan?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You know what? I got time." Because in first year varsity, when you're studying theatre,
Yes.
you have lots of time. You spend a lot of time at the theatre talking shit. But I was like, I am ready. Show me Iron Maiden.
Cool.
Like, give me what you got.
Yeah.
What do you start with? What do you do? He played this one song, and I was like, I thought they were heavy. He's like, no, but this is the slow stuff.
Right.
I was like, this is naffer than Bon Jovi. And I was like, and you look at, these like mummies and skeletons and shit. And I was like, what? And then when I heard the heavier stuff, I was like, it's not for me.
Really?
It doesn't pack a sort of a huge punch. It's very mathematical. It's very much a musician.
Right.
So it's about the nuance of what they're doing.
Right.
It all feels very samey
Okay.
Oh, right.
for me.
Yes.
But people love them, and I think that's awesome. I love the fact that the songs are smart, and they're often about like history and war and the history of Britain in war. There was this ever since Cotton On licensed a lot of these band T-shirts.
Yes.
You find an incredible amount of diverse people wearing band T-shirts that they would never have normally worn.
Yes.
Right? And there was this young, very cool, very stylish black girl once in the lobby of the Bioscope, and I was like, "Do you know Iron Maiden?" And I wasn't going to be that guy like, "Oh, you wearing a T-shirt, but you don't know them."
Yeah.
Like, I understand exactly how this all works.
Yeah.
It's in Cotton On.
Yeah.
The Kardashians are wearing
Yeah.
Slayer T-shirts. I know exactly what's going on. I'm not going to
Exactly.
bash this, but I took this as a chance to go, you're probably not going to like them.
Yeah.
But, because I don't really even, but you should understand, like, it's smart and it's, songs about history and war. And I was like, and the lead singer is a pilot.
Yes.
And so they are so wealthy and successful as a band that they have their own plane.
Yeah.
And he flies the band around the world in a Boeing. And
Yeah.
their like eyes grew big. And I was like, understand what you were wearing.
There's a whole documentary about that.
Yeah.
Flight 666, I think it's called.
Is it?
It's all about like the tour that they go and how he flies them around and
Yeah. That's so cool.
Do they still release me? Like, I've never listened to an Iron Maiden song, admittedly.
yeah, they're still
Yeah.
doing
Do
stuff.
they still?
Yeah, they still do. Yeah.
What, like, are they like an 80s band, a 70s band?
I think they started in the 70s.
Yeah, but their prime would have been like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, naffer than Bon Jovi is
Yeah.
was my takeaway. So yeah, interesting. But no, we'll get this documentary. I think for the fans it'll be great. And as much as I have seemingly bashed them, I'm still very much here for this documentary. Hey, did you guys see there is a SNL UK?
Yeah.
Oh.
It launched recently.
Just on Saturday night. Yeah.
On this last Saturday night.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I mean, Saturday Night Live has been, a very American thing.
Mm.
But the British, should be good at sketch comedy.
Yeah, you would think.
It'll be interesting to see how good live sketch comedy is, because there's something very different about it being live. I think the
Yeah.
British are very smart at writing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the humor is very calculated and rehearsed and kind of meticulous.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. Tina Fey opened it
Yeah.
Okay.
as the first host and acknowledged in her opening speech how she's this American.
Yes.
And so it was funny, a guy like Graeme Norton, who's a very famous British TV host,
Yeah.
was in the audience and sort of came up and gave her like pointers and things.
Right.
And together they'd worked out this little bit to sort of show that she still understood British humor. But yeah, it was more of a sort of passing of the baton, I guess, to get someone like Tina Fey to introduce it. And, and now you got this cast who are all unknowns.
Yeah.
Okay.
But every cast member of SNL at one point was unknown. And
True.
now has become very famous.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I've almost got the sense that they have tried this kind of thing in the past.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they have, but I've got a feeling that it has been attempted.
Okay.
But now this is like a good go at it.
I think I watched a couple of the sketches that popped up online.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were funny enough.
Okay.
I think they've probably just got to find their footing a bit. Like in the sense of, why have SNL UK if it's going to do the same humor as SNL America?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's where they'll probably have to really try to differentiate.
Okay.
Yeah, and they kind
themselves.
of need to have their own characters or their own memes or their own ways of going about it.
'Cause I think sketch comedy is quite American. And as you said, like, whereas I think the British shows that we love have this like very witty, like deadpan sort of style. Funny in its own way, but I think as they just have very different humor styles. And I think the sketch, it'll be interesting to see how they can make this. I mean, they've probably got talented comedians and talented writers, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just am curious to see how it'll work.
And it'll be interesting to see how they use it as well, because it'll always just be a marketing tool for a famous person ahead of some release. So it certainly worked in the States that like a Ryan Gosling does it in the week prior to Project Hail Mary. Because he's long since finished working on his part.
Exactly.
He doesn't have anything to do except for promote it. So like to spend a week in SNL makes sense. Yeah, you've got like SNL Hot Ones. There's like a 2 or 3 like big vehicles now. You can appear on the Video Store podcast.
There you go.
No, it's all about that. And so that's ultimately what's been its driving force. And then those comedians just love to talk about the history and the legacy of Saturday Night Live. And it's a well-oiled machine. It's been going for 50 years. So it's like the costumes and the rooms and the writers' rooms and the tradition. And you hear these lovely stories of like a Tuesday night is a particular kind of night in the writing. That's when the writers are up all night coming up with ideas.
It's a
how the costumes
production.
happen and so be interesting.
Did you watch Saturday Night, the movie about the origins?
I didn't.
I meant to. I forgot about it actually.
Yeah. What was it like?
I fell asleep. I was watching at home and I fell asleep and I never finished it.
Yeah.
That's more to say about the state of being I was at in the
Yeah,
movie.
I know, in the movie.
I don't wish to like throw it down. I think it was like a good time. Like it was like really interesting to see just how chaotic a live show like that is to produce. It's I think it's like one of those really fun sort of like behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it was very
characters
famously
interacting.
Yeah, it was famously about the very first show they ever did.
Yeah.
And just the absolute chaos behind putting that kind of thing together.
Yeah.
Lovely. Have we got any more?
I got one more.
Let's do it.
Hey, did you guys see that in an effort to continue not making his 10th movie, Quentin Tarantino is going to be writing and directing a TV series?
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is going to be co-directed by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I think
Okay. Isn't Sylvester Stallone saving the film industry
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
for Donald Trump?
I guess he is.
I think Quentin's
luck with
going
that.
out sad.
Yes.
Seems odd, but wasn't he going to do a play? We announced that about
Yeah.
I mean,
2
I'm
weeks
sure
ago.
he's going to do lots of things.
What
Again,
is
in an effort to just like not, because he's got the self-imposed 10 movie rule, which is stupid.
You should just say, guys, like no one will hate him. You
Yeah.
should just say
I got one more in me, and
also-
everyone will be like, great.
I can guarantee you once he's made his 10th one, he'll be like, that's my 10th movie. And then he won't make a movie for like 5 years. And then he'll be like, I'm going to make another movie.
Yeah. And
Guarantee
everyone
he's
will
not
be
gonna-
like, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You do you, boo.
Yeah.
What is the TV show?
It's no plot details or anything yet. I think it's got something to do with like 1930s gangsters, sort of.
Well, I can tell you that
Area.
he wrote a TV show. It's in the book, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah.
The book that he wrote after the movie,
Yes.
most of that book is the fictional plot
Yes.
of the TV show that Leonardo DiCaprio's character does that scene in.
Okay.
It's like a Western.
Okay.
But it is, okay, maybe it's a little too similar to Yellowstone, but it's like brothers and a ranch and a dynasty,
Okay.
and it's like the fight for that. It's well thought out. It's like, I was reading this going, this could have just been the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has written a TV show before.
Okay. But this is like a period 1930s gangster thing. Apparently, there's no details yet. They've just announced it.
Interesting.
Oh, speaking of westerns, hey, here's another one. Hey, did you guys see Steven Spielberg's next movie is going to be a western?
So he says, yeah. So
Yeah.
he said finally he feels comfortable enough approaching that.
Yeah.
That genre.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
Which is
excited
interesting. Like
for
no
disclosure.
details or anything yet. The only thing he said about it is that they are avoiding every western trope that you possibly can.
Okay.
So they're gonna try and do an original take on a western. And it's Steven Spielberg, so I'm gonna freaking watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Interesting.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Cool.
Should we do a little round of what movie am I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, here's a banger. I'm a romantic drama.
Love it.
I'm going to put this on. Oh, no, these are all too obvious. It's such a big movie.
Okay.
That I thought maybe some of the things would be. I'm one of the highest grossing films of all time.
Okay.
I won 11 Oscars.
Captain, My
Disney.
Captain, Titanic.
Yeah.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I know the other ones were too obvious.
Yeah. It was the 11 Oscars that
Yeah.
did it.
I had a friend the other day who told me they watched Titanic for the first time
Oh,
and
yeah?
they did not like it. They
That's
said they
wild.
hated it.
Who hurt you? No, we had a niece and nephew enter into sort of high school or late primary school, and they had to study it for like a set work, and we watched it for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. It is
Like,
great.
It is good, man.
It is. I think it's Jim Cameron's best movie. Okay. This one, you should get this one.
Okay.
I am the first of a major franchise. I used lifelike animatronics. My musical score is composed by John Williams.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
You got to say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Oh, Captain, my
Yes.
Captain.
Uh-huh.
Star Wars.
No.
A New Hope?
No.
Whoa.
Later than that.
Okay.
The next two will definitely give
Okay,
it
wait.
away.
Just give the first ones again.
First entry in a major
Oh,
franchise.
Okay. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Yes.
Sorry. Jurassic Park.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. That's one of your favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
That movie was the third time that Steven Spielberg made the most successful movie of all time.
Don't you think
Oh,
it's...
cool.
Yeah.
Jaws, E.T.,
Yeah.
and then
He had that and Schindler's List come out in the same year.
Same year, dude.
Like,
Yeah.
just
That is
goat status.
Crazy.
banger. No space for mash.
No
Just
wonder,
bangers.
no wonder he didn't make a movie for like 3 years after that.
You'd need time off.
He was
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a psychological drama. I have an experimental structure.
Okay.
I am in Swedish.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, Run, Lola, Run.
No.
Okay.
Huh.
I'm written and directed by Ingmar Bergman.
Oh, I don't really know Bergman
Yeah,
films.
I'm so unfamiliar with Bergman stuff.
I feature two main characters, Alma and Elisabeth.
Okay, some cinephile is shouting.
Yes.
Shouting
Come
down.
on, get
Parents furious.
It is Persona from 1966.
Okay. No, I wouldn't have gotten
No,
that.
I never would have
Yeah,
gotten that
it's
one.
tough
Okay,
one.
you're allowed to do one more then.
Okay. Okay. We should get this one.
Cool.
I played in theaters for over a year.
Wow.
Okay.
I inspired a theme park ride.
I was going to say 4 weddings and a funeral, but now I've taken that one away.
That's a great
Okay.
funeral ride. I am directed by Steven Spielberg.
Theme park ride.
Theme park ride.
I mean, I know there's a Jurassic Park ride
Yes, but
at
we did
Universal
that one.
Studios.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, is it E.T.?
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, because I remember there was an E.T. ride at one point.
Oh, cool.
I didn't realize it was in cinemas for that long.
Just shows you.
They used to do that, man. Like we were just talking about Titanic. Titanic was in for nearly a year.
Yeah.
That's how it made so much money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because there was no streaming.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a massive opening weekend, you immediately pull it and throw it onto streaming.
Yeah.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah. But yeah, there was just such big economy, and it was just
Yeah.
that was your typical Friday night, man.
Mm-hmm.
That like most of us, like that was in the top 3 to 5 things that you could do on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And it like usually going to the one could get you to position 2 or 3 in the list if you were lucky. But like I remember even as a high school kid,
Yeah.
when like mall ratting,
Yeah.
you know, kind of became a thing. I remember turning to my friends going like, dudes, we are doing nothing. We are hanging around doing fuck all. Let's at least go and watch a movie for the first 2 hours of the night. And then we can try and touch a boob for the second half. You know, like, come on. Funny. All right. Should we chat about Project Hail Mary?
Let's do it.
What can you tell us, Graeme?
Okay, so I want to start off by saying, on the topic of us being sponsored by Project Hail Mary,
Yes.
that's not affecting our opinions.
No.
They haven't told us to be positive about it or be anything about
that's
it.
not the idea.
And I can say, I actually went and checked. I first brought up Project Hail Mary on episode 70.
Oh.
We are now episode 213.
Wild.
It was the episode where you interviewed Gareth Cliff. And then we did a little post chat afterwards, and that's when I first brought it up.
Wow. How did you find that?
I searched the like show notes thing that I type up. So I went and found where I included it as a link.
Oh, that's so cool. That's lovely.
But it was episode 70 that I brought it up. So I've been yapping about this thing for like 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Yes.
I think it is a very, very solid adaptation of that book. Well, if we want to do a little quick back of the box, if anyone needs to hear it, because we've been talking about it forever, it's basically about Ryan Gosling goes into space and he has to figure out why the stars are all dying. Long story short.
And why he's there.
Yes, that's right, because he wakes up without his memories.
Yeah.
But that's like something about it is I understand all of the alterations that they made in terms of removing stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you're adapting a book into a movie, you got to get rid of stuff to get it down to a reasonable runtime. And I think like those alterations that make a lot of sense.
Yes.
You know, for instance, on paper, when your character figures out that they're in space by doing gravity math, it's interesting.
Yes.
On screen, having him look out a window is way better.
Of course.
You know,
No,
so
of
those
course.
sort of changes I think are,
And so I
are
think,
great.
yeah, I think one way to sell this is to go the kind of teaser. The teaser elevator pitch is a person wakes up.
Yes.
He has no idea where he is. He realizes he's in space.
Yeah.
And then he slowly realizes like he's on this mission to save
The world.
the world.
Yes.
And not just his world.
Yes.
Because the bigger pitch is the sun is dying,
Yeah.
but so are all the others,
Yep.
except for one galaxy somewhere. That sun isn't dying.
Yeah.
And the only way we could possibly ever figure out how to reverse this is to go there and find out why.
Yep.
And so that's the mission. That's
Yep.
the Hail Mary. I'd love to mention at this point
Yeah.
the writer,
Yes.
Andy Weir, said he took a tiny little bit of liberty by going into how this astrophage works, and we can talk at some point about what astrophage is, but
Yes.
it's kind of at the center of our story. This is the substance that is absorbing heat from the sun and kind of taking it away. And obviously how this thing works is a little bit magical, and so he explains he took a little bit of license there. But where we actually go to this particular planet
Yes.
is based on knowledge that he has of that galaxy.
Yeah.
There is this particular galaxy,
Solar system,
that does exist.
Yep.
He has thought through, and now here's the other part of this magical story, which I feel like we can now.
It's in all
speak
the
about.
marketing.
It's in all the marketing of the movie. It was a suggestion and a tease in the book, but in all the marketing, we now know once our main character gets to this galaxy, he realizes he's not alone.
Yes.
There is another ship there that is there for the same reason that he is, to find out why. And on board is also a survivor,
Yeah.
just like he. And they are two completely different beings.
Yeah.
And one of the magical parts of the movie is him meeting this alien and learning about each other, learning about their structures and how they communicate.
Yeah, learning to communicate.
And
is like
learning
a
to
big
communicate.
part of
So it becomes this lovely lesson in linguistics. It becomes such a lovely experiment when he realizes, the fact that this alien doesn't see with eyes. It sees with sound, like a bat, so to speak. But what's very cool is that Andy Weir's figured out that planet. He knows that planet that this alien could have come from. Our character Rocky, and he's deduced from science. What kind of an alien, if anything, could have lived on this planet based on where it is to the sun and what kind of atmosphere it might have and how it would have effectively been in darkness. So as a result, this being uses this kind of sight. So he's worked this out based on like such real facts. That's what makes this book, I think, at the heart of it quite special. Especially reading it, is that parts of the book are just dedicated to like science experiments. Which of course in a movie will always just be a montage.
Exactly.
But when you're in the book, you it's months of working and weeks of calculations. But I think ultimately what makes this story special, and I think why it's going to really do so well, is that it's ultimately a lovely optimistic view on the world, knowing that things are likely to go to shit or inevitably problems will happen. But the book offers a solve. It offers a hope. And I know that Gosling loved that. And that was what stuck with him. And that's why he ultimately was like excited to do this story.
I think like at its core, it's a buddy comedy about saving the universe. Because it's very funny.
It is very funny. That was the biggest surprise for me. I mean, I went in, I knew nothing of this. I hadn't really heard of the book.
So you tell us what it was like for you. Not knowing how every beat was going to play out.
I hadn't heard anything about. I just knew, Phil Lord and Miller are making this movie. Love their work from the Lego movies or to the producing the Spider-Verse. I mean, they did 22, like the 21 Jump Street movies, I think.
Which is so fun.
They're great.
And
all of these titles are very lovable. It's like they understand lovable. Like the Safdies understand anxiety.
Like these two guys and crowd pleasing. Right? They're very good at that. I'm always curious to know when you go into space, what sort of space movie you want to be. And often I think space movies are very serious. Right? You can have I was like, okay, if this is a one-man survival thing, is it going to be almost there was James Gray's movie with Brad Pitt. I'm just forgetting
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra, right? Which was that very existential sort of thing, like going to find your father.
That was arty.
Right? I was like, okay, are we going? I really didn't know. And then, do we have something like Gravity? Do we have something like Interstellar? I was really curious. First Man, like, where are we going with this? And like you said, it's actually not. I wouldn't say it's not concerned about space, but it's really concerned about what it means to form like two outsiders, soul survivors coming together and forming a bond. It just happens to take place in space. It just happens to have beautiful cinematography. And I think that's really what the core of the movie is about, like found family, protecting one another, and then by extension you protect your greater universe. If you can look after one person, I think the movie's trying to say you can then extrapolate that to save a planet. Like you have to know how to save one person before you can save everyone else.
What I loved in the story is that, because a few people had said, I don't know whether I see Gosling as this kind of, hero saving the earth. And I was like, you have to watch the movie or you have to read the book, because he doesn't want to.
Exactly.
He's a coward. He really is. He's like, I don't care. I cannot do this. And I don't want to give much away of how it all plays out. But it's like he is the unlikely hero because he doesn't actually want to be there. which is also like a cool thing to admit,
Yeah.
and a layer for your character, so that they're not just this, Ethan Hunt can do anything,
Yeah.
and I've got the special set of skills. It's like he's a nerd.
Yeah.
He's a nerd. He's not meant to be doing all these like physical things. He's meant to just be doing experiments, and he ultimately wants to just be there for his kids. And there's that great moment where the woman who's in charge of this incredible operation goes, well, if you want to just go back to your kids, those kids are not going to survive.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want to look after your kids, and because he was a school teacher, if you really care for your kids that you want to go back and give classes to, like, you should be going out there trying to save them.
Yeah.
So no, it's very special, and I must say I went into it with such high expectations. But left it going like, I'm glad that was all great. There was nothing that rubbed me the wrong way. But you said earlier, Graeme, you were afraid of saying something bad, but then you just went and gushed about it.
I was just making the point that
that you're not being paid to say it's great.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's something I will like more on a second viewing.
Yeah, I was excited to perhaps try and watch it with you this past weekend.
Yeah,
if I wasn't stuck in the golf
in Stain City.
Yeah.
Just because, like, on a second time, I can watch the movie for what the movie is,
exactly,
as opposed to going in with expectations and ideas that the book that I created through the book.
Yeah.
I can watch their version of it as opposed to my version of it that lives in my head.
Well, what's exciting about the version that lives in your head is that you probably didn't imagine Ryan Gosling, hey?
No, because when I read it, the movie hadn't been announced yet.
Yeah,
So.
I unfortunately always saw Gosling in my head
Okay.
because I knew he was attached.
Yes,
so
it's interesting. When I've come out recommending it to people, I think the movie's, not to say that it's got low ambitions. It just it's not challenging, right? And I don't mean that, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way.
Not boundary pushing and taking you to a place that you've never been.
Yeah.
And that was the one criticism, that I saw from Little White Lies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always love their very balanced approach to film reviewing, which is
Great.
they give a rating for going in, they give a rating during, and they give a rating in retrospect.
Okay.
And their retrospect went down like one notch to go like, we've seen this kind of thing before. But I think you're right in that it's not Memento where you're like, fuck, my mind's blown, we're going in reverse and
Yeah. Like I
but
don't,
that is totally fine.
that's the thing, right? And that's where I can't criticize it for something it wasn't trying to not be.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's very clear it wants to be this it's not saccharine, but it wears its heart on its sleeve. It's just it wants to be this movie that people will love. They clearly want families to go into the cinema to watch this. They want audiences to just have a good time and be optimistic about, because I think so much of the real world, you are like, whoa, is this, if you open up a news app and you go, is this the end of the world?
Totally. No, and you actually sometimes go into movies or TV shows and something about them suggests to you, you're going to get something right at the end.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the slap across the face.
Yeah.
And some of them just present like, I'm mysterious and I'm going to unravel and I'm going to fuck with your head. This one is like, we'd probably be keeping kids in mind here.
Yeah.
Like, this is simple.
Yeah.
And like, you can imagine Andy Weir as well going, and I think he's even admitted it in some interviews, he's like, I'm not interested in like people and character developments.
Yeah.
He's like, his ideas were the interesting thing. He gets a kick out of coming up with what aliens would exist on that planet.
Yeah.
And what I love is like our first encounter with an alien life is not this little bug-eyed monster.
Yeah.
It's a bacteria that exists in space that you can only see under a certain microscope.
Yeah.
That is doing a certain thing that is hugely detrimental to the whole galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, the whole Milky Way. Like, I remember long before Rocky arrived, I was like, that's actually a really smart and interesting and more realistic way in which alien life will show up
100%. So that
as this little mitochondria bacteria.
if we ever actually discover life, that's what it'll be like.
It will be that.
Yeah.
And I guess that was perhaps a starting point for him.
But also something about Andy Weir, like you're talking about, is he really likes to invent a problem and then come up with a way to solve it.
Yeah.
Like he presents these problems that like the character has to encounter. If you read The Martian, it's all over The Martian as well. It's like he comes up with this problem and then he has to figure out how to solve it.
And he's like probably doing that solely for himself.
Yes.
To get the enjoyment out of that.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm glad you brought up The Martian because, again, I knew nothing about the movie.
Right.
And then when I left it and I was reading up, I was like, the same guy who wrote this book wrote The Martian. And there are a lot of thematic similarities, like man in space needs to go home.
Yeah,
needs
totally.
To
And just that spirit of, I need to science the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Whatever Matt Damon says. Something like, I need to science my way out of this.
And both like featured charismatic lead stars. And both are just really optimistic. Like The Martian, I remember watching it back in high school, like this is great. Like this is a fun movie. Like I don't know anyone who didn't like it. I think this will be the same.
That's the thing, is that I want to mention the fact that apart from Little White Lies going, in retrospect, maybe it was a little bit same. Apart from that, I have taken such great joy, and it's probably because of its simplicity, that the overwhelming sort of cry from the film critics and the fans is that this film is great.
Yeah.
And you don't see that.
No.
You don't see that almost ever.
Yeah.
There's always the naysayers, and there's always the people that take joy out of the clickbait of the criticism. But it was just one of those things where from the beginning I saw even Andy Weir was like, and reactions after seeing it. And then you go, oh, fuck, now I got to click on it to find out what his reactions were. And it was, I loved it.
Yeah.
And then we saw these early posts of certain news articles going, early criticisms are calling it a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I just love how everyone has gotten behind this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting at a 4.4 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, so that's the other great fact.
Which is crazy.
Hey, did you guys see? It's entered Letterboxd's top 100 films.
Yeah.
And that happened like in and around its release, arguably before it had even been released. So it's like people just want this film to do well.
Yeah.
Just like you want Grace to figure it out and save Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, and you don't want Rocky to die.
Exactly.
Or him to die.
Exactly.
Or anyone to die. And you just want it to work.
Yeah. I mean, I surprisingly cried a few times during this movie. Like, I just did not. I think we live in an age where everything is almost, you're expecting stuff to subvert your expectations, and this is it's just so what it like it is what it is, like an analogy. I'm a bit of I love watching cooking shows.
Yeah.
And they often say, if you are going to serve a classic, you have to just do it really well. And sometimes you can't be the classic. Like when you roast a chicken and it's
just make the best fucking roast chicken.
Make the best roast chicken, and everyone will eat and no one can leave dinner.
You don't need a deconstructed roast chicken.
No, exactly. Like if you just do it super well, make it tender, make it juicy, whatever, people will leave satisfied. No one can knock you down for saying, well, I mean, it was just a roast. Like that was a fucking great roast chicken.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Project Hail Mary is. And as I and they used such little apparently blue screen and green screen.
No green screens, And
Rocky's puppet, he's like a puppet operated, he's not a CGI thing.
Yeah.
So lots of technical, I mean, it cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you see it on the screen, I think.
Yeah.
Unlike some...
But just such a great blueprint.
Yeah.
And it was all there. It was all there on the page.
Yeah.
You could gloss over a couple of the nerdy parts, but all the plot points were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't need to rechange it, or they didn't need to figure it out.
Yeah. Also, if you're someone who looks at it and goes, oh, it's 2 hours, 45 minutes, that's a bit much, don't worry about it.
Oh, no, it
It
flies.
flies, dude.
Yeah.
Is it 2 hours 45?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
That race, I didn't... Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I've had
it's
to
crazy,
I've had to restructure so much whenever these kind of big movies come along. I've got to, I usually got a 2, 4, 6, 8, and now I've got to work in odd numbers, and I've got to make these 3-hour slots available.
Yeah, but it felt like half an hour. It just flies by.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Lovely.
It's really well edited.
All right. Magic. Thank you,
Yes.
guys. Was there anything else that we were burning? Did you just come and visit, or did you return anything?
Oh,
Did you just come to say hi?
I just came. I mean, I'm returning.
You're returning Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, no, sure. Was there nothing else that you've seen that
There's nothing else that I've seen this week that was burning.
Okay, lovely. Well, it's nice for you to have just come past to say hi and bring back your copy of Project Hail Mary nice and early.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. And yeah, anyone else, we want to hear your returns.
Yes.
So that can be in so many different ways. You can send us an email, thevideostorepod@gmail.com at this point. I want to make a nicer email in the future.
Okay.
But that can be written, and then we'll read it out. You can leave a comment in the Instagram below this episode to let us know what you think, and also send your returns. You can send us a voice note through Instagram.
Cool.
There's lots that you can do. All the details are also in the description below. All right, Magic.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you for a lovely day.
Yeah.
It was nice to nerd out about
Oh, yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
Magic, see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.